I think Tyrese Haliburton. Like, I understand that he's not the sexiest or flashiest name, but I don't see a perfect player in this draft. I don't see a pick where you go like Edwards, not a shooter. Wiseman, too easily approximated, like a rim runner who can defend the rim but doesn't really have range on his shot. But maybe eventually you can pick those kind of guys up in free agency, bigs like that, even if they're not quite as talented as him. And that's not the way you win in the modern NBA anyway, not with that guy as one of, say, your two best players. I look down the list, and I think, Haliburton, there's a guy who's ready to play right now, right? He's not 22 years old or something. He's 20. He is long. He's built like a defender. Like, what doesn't he? He can shoot. It's a funky shot, but it's a repeatable motion. He can shoot. He can really pass. He has high basketball IQ and court vision. Like, he can do and he can play next to anybody. I think he works in any system. The things about him that you don't like the funky shot, as I said, that's a repeatable motion. That's not like a guy where you're like, oh, my God, you're going to have to tear that down and start again. And he's hitting a lot of those shots. You know, things like he's not a great ISO scorer. Well, that could come in time. And even if he never turns out to be a great ISO scorer, which I understand is ideal if you're going to be picking number one, right? He's going to be a highly effective NBA operator for a long time. You would think, barring injury, at least he should add to it. He's not strong enough. That'll come. So, guys, what I see Haliburton as is a guy like Stephen A. Remember when I said Jamal Adams would have been a smart number one pick? I didn't know what Mahomes would be in a draft where you weren't sure of anyone. Take the dude you know is going to be really good and really good right away. I think that's Haliburton.
Well, I can't summarily dismiss that. I got respect for Haliburton. I'm actually hoping that the Knicks end up getting him, that he falls low enough so the New York Knicks can get a player. To be quite honest with you, I'm not unapologetic about that. Having said all of that, however, if I'm going number one, I would say this. Anthony Edwards out of Georgia is somebody I can't ignore. And it's not just about his skill set. It's about the need of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you got Karl Anthony Towns, okay? You've got a point guard, all right? Russell. I'm looking at a guy like Anthony Edwards, and I think along the lines of Dwayne Wade, 6'5", an NBA body, 225, 230, shot 50% from two-point range, got to improve his three-point shot, only shot 29%, but can put the ball in the hole, can finish at the basket, is athletic, is lethal in the open court, and he's a guy that goes and gets his own shot. So when I think about that, and I think about him with Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, I think that fills a need for the Minnesota Timberwolves, not to mention the fact it gives you that off guard that you're looking for to pair with obviously an elite big man and a point guard that can score from the perimeter and can pass the basketball. I think about him as the number one overall pick. I think that's a safer bet in my estimation.
Stephen A., I agree with you. Anthony Edwards will go number one in the draft to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, just check out what Dwayne Wade says about him. Check out what Victor Oladipo says about him. I watch him play at Georgia. The guy is a stud. The question that some people have had about him is that, does he love the game of basketball? But he will go number one, but mark this, guys. He will go number one almost by default. You have three of the top teams in this draft that you all here want to trade down. People are saying, Phoenix, for example, being at the 10 spot. Phoenix is like, whoa, this is great for us. There's so much value in the middle of the lottery instead of feeling the media pressure to take a James Wiseman. You don't think Golden State will want to package up Andrew Wiggins and a number 2 pick to trade for a Bradley Beal if that kind of trade scenario came on the marketplace? You're damn right they would. I mean, Charlotte will probably end up taking LaMelo Ball. But, Charlotte is trying to make moves for Russell Westbrook. We've been hearing that between the relationship between Michael Jordan and Russell Westbrook down in Charlotte. They can pull that trade off with Houston if they have enough assets to give up. So you have a lot of these teams, even for Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, there's nobody that's like a lock, right? Like there's nobody's going to say, regardless of whatever you bring to the table, deal-wise, that I'm not taking it. I'm taking him. The question you have about Anthony Edwards is, too, you have a very young basketball team. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who's gone through a lot this year. You have D'Angelo Russell. We know his history. We watched him grow when he was in Brooklyn to becoming an all-star. Now, is he the bona fide leader of this team? Or if you're Gerson Rosas, would you rather get a veteran to help lead your younger guys who are learning how to become winners? There's so many moving parts here. there's nothing that's a lock for me in the upper part of this draft moving forward.
The problem when I hear about Anthony Edwards or anyone, like, the question is, does he love it? What made Dwayne Wade was not his athletic ability or his basketball skills. It was the desire. That's why he's one of the greatest of all time. Dwayne Wade was very skilled, but I've seen players as skilled or more skilled, but they're not Dwayne Wade because he wanted it. Michael Jordan wanted it, right? No one ever questioned, does he love basketball? So I get why you would say Edwards or LaMelo Ball or someone with high upside, because when you're picking first, you want a transformative kind of player for your franchise. The reason I like Haliburton, actually, is he may not be that. But if that guy doesn't exist in a draft, you go broke trying to invent him in your own mind, trying to will him or wish him into existence. So give me a guy with length, a high basketball IQ, a knockdown shooter from three, a guy who's an excellent teammate, a guy who with court vision, an excellent passer, a guy who at least projects into a good defender, a versatile player who can play multiple positions, a style of play who can play next to anyone. I drop him on any team in the NBA. I think I just made that team better.
Stephen A., I would just say this. If we have free agency before this draft, we'd be looking at these top picks very differently. Very differently. Because I don't think you would see as much value for what teams think they would need if they knew what the market had shown its face regarding to what they can have and pieces in place.
I agree with that. And then to address, Max's point, what I would say to you is this. It did help that Dwayne Wade came into the league and the person he was playing for was Pat Riley's organization. I mean, from the time he walked through the door, there was a standard that you had to live up to. And one of the great things that you have to appreciate about the great players like the Dwayne Wades, the Kobe Bryants, people like that, it's South Beach, it's LA. There's a lot of distractions. But when you see guys that focused in a locale like that, then obviously you know they're built of something very, very special. Minnesota's a tad bit different. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.